All right, we're back. We're on problem number 6. I have drawn the figure up here for us to kind of work on this together. And it says refer to figure 7.2. There we go, right here. When the price rises from P1 to P2, consumer surplus. Let me just pull back for a second. Now instead of doing people or individuals, we've got this demand curve, okay? And you can think of the demand curve as showing the willingness to pay for like an infinite set of consumers in this market, right? So we know that there are some people who are willing to pay a really high price because they got to have this good. And as the price goes further and further down, the quantity demanded increases as more and more people find that their willingness to pay is now exceeding the market price. So as market price falls, more people come into the market because the good now looks as, quote, a gain to them, right? The difference between their willingness to pay and how much they actually have to pay in the market. So when the price is P1, our consumer surplus is the area beneath the demand curve bounded by the price, right? Why? Why this triangle right here? Because every person along this demand curve, the demand curve is showing us their willingness to pay, how much they value this good. It exceeds P1 for all the consumers all the way up to a quantity demanded of Q1, right? So when we get to right here, all the people represented by this demand curve are willing to pay more than P1 to have the good. This area, this whole area right here represents the summation of all these individuals' consumer surpluses. Remember the example before we were doing it person by person just to illustrate what it is? Well, now take a market like the market for coffee in the world, right? There's a demand curve for coffee, which is amazing. Some people are willing to pay $5, $6 I've seen in Starbucks in the morning at 7 o'clock, right? But by 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, demand for coffee's fallen off pretty much because no one wants to stay up all night unless you have a night job. So the willingness to pay varies clearly by the quantity, by the time, by different people in the world buying at different levels. All right, so back to the problem here. So the consumer surplus, when price is P1, is the area A, B, and C. Hopefully that's straightforward, right? Now the question says price rises from P1 to P2. And you can see what happens by a price increase. We lose all these consumers. Quantity demanded falls from Q1 to Q2. These people fall out of the market because why? Because the price is now higher than their willingness to pay, represented by the demand curve. They no longer want to buy. We only have this many people in the market, so the consumer surplus with this price increase has been reduced to the area A. But the question then says, what happens? They're asking for the change in consumer surplus. So what happens to consumer surplus when the price rises? Well, clearly it's got to decrease, all right? So increases by amount A. No, consumer surplus is not increasing, it's decreasing. B, decreases by amount BC. Decreases by amount BC. All right, when price went from P1 to P2, the total surplus at P1 was ABC. The total surplus at P2 is A. The difference is obviously BC. So the answer is clearly B. All right. Next one, increases by amount equal to, excuse me, that's a decrease. Decrease, right. C is increases by amount equal to BC. No, that's just a slick way to kind of catch you in a multiple choice question. It didn't increase, it obviously decreased. And then D, decreases by amount equal to C. No, it didn't decrease by this, and that's actually important to realize. It decreased by this entire amount right here because when price went to P1 to P2, only this much consumer surplus was left. All right? So we've gone from the individual level to this graphical level. I'm going to come back with one more graph after this, and we'll just solidify this notion of consumer surplus, and we'll make great headway in Chapter 7. All right, I'll be back.